Here's a case of self-defense that some tried to make divisive and used by a number of folks to make political statements against one another rather than examining what happened and how the law should deal with it from a common sense application of self-defense principles. Honestly, as a prosecutor looking at all of the evidence, at least all of the evidence that's been made public, this is a case where charges probably never should have been laid. And you'll see why shortly. The first principle of self-defense is that a person is entitled to use reasonable force to prevent or repel an attack on them. What is reasonable depends on the circumstances and has to be objectively reasonable. What happened? Well, first, you should be aware that there is a surveillance video of what happened, and unedited video, well, it doesn't lie. And we will show a short clip. Jose Alba, a 61-year-old man, was working in a bodega in Washington Heights, Manhattan. A woman came into the store with a 10-year-old girl. The 10-year-old girl selected a snack, but when her mother tried to pay for it, her EBT card was declined, or the transaction malfunctioned. Either way, she was unable to pay for the treat with her EBT card. Alba appeared to take the snack from the girl, which he maybe could have been nicer about, but no one was hurt. The woman became agitated and stormed out of the bodega. She threatened to come back with her boyfriend after knocking some items off the counter. Within minutes, 35-year-old Austin Simon charged into the store, clearly angry. Simon came into the area behind the counter and shoved Alba against a wall. Alba was pushed down into a chair and then grabbed by the collar and then held by the neck. He managed to get a knife and stabbed Simon 3 times in a very brief struggle with the aggressive Simon. Alba was also stabbed, according to police, by Simon's girlfriend who was in the store. His wounds are clearly visible in the video. Simon died of his stab wounds later that day. Police were called and arrested Alba on July 2nd, seemingly without doing much of an investigation. They could have detained him for an investigation, but that's not what happened. Alba spent a week in Rikers Island jail with an excessive bond amount set for a bodega worker. He would be released when the bond was lowered to a more reasonable amount and continued on release conditions for some time. In the meantime, the DA's office began an investigation. Speaking to eyewitnesses, to EMTs, officers, the medical examiner, reviewing video, they determined they could not prove murder, which is what Alba was arrested for. This was not a consensual fight gone wrong. It wasn't a murder. Simon wasn't merely yelling at Alba and then Alba decided to stab him. And it was not a case where Alba could have escaped the aggression. The man was clearly defending himself from a much younger, larger, aggressive male who had already cornered, then laid his hands on him, and was intent on dragging him out from behind the counter by his neck. It was only after the DA's investigation that charges were dropped, charges that, if the police had conducted a thorough and proper investigation, shouldn't have been laid in the first place. Charge first, ask questions later is not good policing. In this case, folks with political agendas tried to use the case for their own ends, but in a rational world, there just aren't any politics to play here. People from all walks of life can agree that when you are attacked, you have the right to defend yourself. And sometimes that does mean that the aggressor is going to lose his life. It's unfortunate. It's not a happy occasion, but it is sometimes what happens. Here's a case where self-defense, in the legal definition of that right, is quite clear. Until next Thursday. If you're enjoying these videos and want more, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.